Many farmers and ranchers buy health insurance on the open market. A survey reveals how changes in healthcare now are impacting those in the ag industry. Here's more. Well, when it comes to the Affordable Care Act, there's a lot of changes that are underway, and of course we've all talked about it here. We've heard about it in Washington. The media has covered it, and now we're getting a chance to sit down here and really find out how it's impacting people here in the area. And representing Nebraska Farm Bureau here, we have Jordan Dux with us, or Dux rather. And now explain to us here, politics aside, because there's a lot of finger pointing and that kind of thing. You guys did a survey and explain what your focus was with this survey.
So really it was pretty basic. We wanted to see how the Affordable Care Act was affecting farmers, ranchers, and other members that we have. And so we sent out a survey and collected nearly 800 respondents in a little over a couple weeks. Really it was just, again, trying to see what it did to costs, what it was doing to individual health insurance policies, and the results that we got were a little surprising, but not really.
And talk about those here a little bit.
You know, really what we found really was focused in on, for the farmer and rancher side, farmers and ranchers don't have the ability to, their health insurance costs are normally a little higher because they have to purchase them from the open market. Their employer is themselves, and so their employer does not cover part of that. They have to cover the whole cost. For those folks on the individual marketplace, their health insurance costs increased, and in some instances we saw very high increases. I think the one other thing that we noticed was not just the premium cost, but you did see a lot of overall deductibles and out-of-pocket totals go very, very high. Most of the time, farmers and ranchers have more of a catastrophic coverage health insurance policy anyway that have deductibles of $2,000 to $5,000. Those deductibles were reaching now closer to $12,000, and so that's really been was pretty common throughout most of the respondents.
And some things you hear, you know, that the coverages they had before, even if they liked them, they might have had a lot of holes in them before, and now they're filling that up in the marketplace. But some are still not happy even with that, right? Sure.
The Affordable Care Act did have a lot of good pieces to it. And when you look at the goal of trying to expand coverage, absolutely that's exactly what the Affordable Care Act did. It expanded coverage to a lot of people. But the problem has been is that when you look at some of the reforms they made in the insurance market, three primary things are driving the increases in costs that folks may be seeing. Farmers and ranchers in particular are those folks, small business owners that have individual policies. The insurance companies now have to grant insurance coverage to everybody, which again is a pretty good goal. The second part, it really focuses in on, they're limited with how they can rate people, how much they can charge people. They're limited that they can only rate people based upon their age, their tobacco use, and how many kids they have. That's pretty much it. Normally they had a few more things that they could do to rate people to raise costs either higher or lower depending upon the health of an individual. The last thing is that the new health care policies are mandated to have a number of things that they didn't have before. And some of those include mental health coverage as well as maternity policies, which for younger folks who may be interested in having kids, that's a good thing. But for folks who may be 60, maternity policies aren't really something that they need. However, their health insurance plan they have has to have it.
And it's more expensive because of those things.
That's exactly right.
So what's the answer here? Do people need to kind of reach out to Farm Bureau? What, are you going to Washington? And what's going on here then?
The main thing they need to do is they need to try to educate themselves as best they can. A lot of times those folks who purchase insurance from the open market, farmers, ranchers, small business owners, they most likely just recently have gotten a letter stating either that their costs have gone up or that their insurance policy no longer is compliant with the ACA and they have to get another one. And so you need to first and foremost go and talk to your health insurance agent and the folks that you purchase your health insurance from. Those folks are the ones that are really trying to educate, as best they can to try to understand how this law affects their customers, and they're the ones that have the answers to a lot of that. The Nebraska Farm Bureau website, www.nefb.org, we have a nice page on there that explains the ACA, what you may be seeing, what impact it has, and we also have conducted some webinars and some things like that are also available on there, some copies of those that folks can watch and really try to educate themselves as best best they can. Again, the Affordable Care Act has some positive things, it has some negative things. It's really a matter of folks staying educated and trying to see how they fit into that and how this law will affect them.
All right, thank you so much, Jordan. If you have questions, you want to know more, I think Jordan and I could talk about this all day, but go to our website, nebraska.tv, and click on NTV's Grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Later on, meet the Farm Family of the Month and see if the weather will put a damper on harvest this week. Your Grow forecast is next.